Hi, good morning. It's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine, and I am here with a Sale-A-Bration Sunday, episode number 9. So this is going to be the last Sale-A-Bration Sunday for a little bit. Sale-A-Bration ends today, the January to February 2021 Sale-A-Bration. There's going to be another one coming this summer, so July, August 2021, I'll be back featuring Sale-A-Bration items from my weekly Sunday lives. But this morning I wanted to kind of focus on making a simple slimline card, and confession time, I have never made one before. So this project was the first time I have made one, and there are different measurements for one, so I'll kind of explain how I got to this measurement while I'm creating. But I'm using two Sale-A-Bration set of products, the A Touch of Ink stamp set, and I know some of my customers earned this during Sale-A-Bration. It is free with a $50 order, but you have to purchase by the end of the day today because Sale-A-Bration is ending today, February 28th. And then I'm using the Flower and Field Designer Series paper, which I know is super popular, and a lot of you probably already have it in your stash, so this will give you an idea to use it up. So, good morning, Janine. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to bring my camera down at my station and we'll go ahead and start. And I should also mention the first half of this is going to be the slimline card, and then the second half I'm going to do a little Sale-A-Bration recap and show you some of the cards and projects I still have. I have mailed a lot of cards, so I was going through my stash this morning, and I have mailed a bunch of cards with Sale-A-Bration the past couple weeks, so we'll go through what I have left. So I'm going to try to do 15 minutes card and 15 minutes with the recap. Okay, so I'm going to move my camera now. Okay, so again, here is my slimline card, and I'm just going to make sure I can find myself in my feed and make sure I am in the camera here. So again, I'm using the A Touch of Ink stamp set. This is on page 12 of the Sale-A-Bration catalog. And it's great because it's a two-step stamp set, and there's lots of possibilities you could do with the slimline card. So you could do, because there are kind of like 4 images on this type of card, you could also do a like 3 panels and feature like 3 of the different stamps. So that just kind of gives you a different idea. So I'm going to get this out of the way, and I'm just going to do the stamping first to just get that out of the way, and then I will talk about the measurements and making a card. So I'm using Memento black ink and Flirty Flamingo. So Flirty Flamingo is going to be my main color, and I want to stamp my hummingbird first. So I'm actually going to do the black outline first, and then I'm going to fill in with the Flirty Flamingo. So I have my Pierce mat because this is a photopolymer stamp set, so I want to have some cushion. Some of you might know I don't use the Pierce mat for my red rubber stamps. So I'm trying to find myself in my feed here. So okay, I'm just going to ink up my stamp upside down. And if you're not sure how to stamp the hummingbird, I looked at my stamp case, but this one is kind of like wings up and kind of like nose down, like it's flying. So I looked at the cover of my stamp case to kind of figure out how I wanted it to stamp. Good morning, Elaine. Thanks for tuning in this morning. So I'm going to stamp kind of wings up and nose down. And okay, that's not too bad. I'm going to go over it with the Flirty Flamingo, so I think I'm just going to keep it like that. And then I'm going to just come over. I picked the thank you so much sentiment, but there's a bunch of sentiments in this stamp. And like I said, again, it's free with a $100 order, but you need to purchase today and then it's going to be gone because this is a Sale-A-Bration stamp set. Okay, and now let's come over and do my Flirty Flamingo. And I can open my case. Okay. So I'm just going to stamp right over. Each of the stamps, the images in the set have a 2-step stamp. And I'm just going to line up. Since it's photopolymer, I'm just going to come right over. And there's actually a little bit of white in this stamp, the second one, to fill in. There's a little bit of white space, and it's so pretty. It looks like it's watercolored. So I really love this stamp set, and kind of sad that I have not used it until today. So shame on me. That was just something that happened with Sale-A-Bration. So I'm going to come over and I want to talk about the Slimline card. So I'm going to change up the designer series paper. Here is the original one I made with, it's still the Flower and Field designer series paper. But if you're watching and you don't have this paper, you can use any designer series paper in your stash. So let's talk about the measurements. I use Flirty Flamingo for my base, and it's a 3.5 by 8.5 finish size. So I'm going to start with a Flirty Flamingo that is 8.5 by 7. Okay, so 8.5 by 7. I went with this size because the measurements are fairly simple. So I thought anybody could do this. So I'm calling this kind of a simple slimline card. So 3.5, 8.5 finish size, but you want your cardstock to be 8.5 by 7, and then you're going to score in half on the 7-inch side at 3.5. And then I'm just going to fold on that score line to make my base. Okay, so then what I did is I have a piece of basic black cardstock that I'm going to layer on, and the black is 3.25 by 8.25. So you can probably see where I'm going with this is that I want my designer series paper to have a 3-inch by 8-inch measurement. And why do I want that? Because my designer series paper is 12 inches. So if I have my 3-inch mark, I can get 4 from one piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, 12 by 12 designer series paper, or 12 by 12 cardstock. If you have 12 by 12 cardstock and you want to make this layer the 3 by 8 layer cardstock, you could. And just, oh, this is super pretty on the back too with the polka dots. I love polka dots, and I'm covering it up, but that's okay. So I'm just going to layer these up. So again, the designer series paper is 3 by 8. Then the black is 3.25 by 8.25. And I'll put the measurements below so you have the measurements. Then the base is 8.5 by 7. Scored in half at 3.5. So that's my simple slimline card. And I am just going to put on my sentiment. And I can kind of see where I want it. In my original one, I kind of had the hummingbird kind of going down like it's going to go towards this little flower here. So I'm using a different pattern here. So maybe I'll try to kind of make it like it's going down to this little yellow flower down here. So I'm just going to adhere this with a little bit of seal. I like seal for my white and my vanilla because it doesn't show through at all. So it's really nice for that. So I kind of want, again, wings up, nose down, but my thank you so much might be a little crooked. So I kind of want to, I'm going to kind of play around with it to kind of get where I want it. Okay, that looks good. And then to finish it off, I just added a couple of the opal rounds from the January to June mini catalog. and I just picked the kind of smaller ones. So these little guys are really on this transfer sheet really well. So, whoops, I'm moving everything around. I'm just gonna kind of give it a move with my fingernail and then pick it up. It's easier said than done. Okay. And then I kind of have a couple options now. I can put these opals in the center of a couple flowers, and I think I might do that. I'm just gonna pick, whoops, it just went flying. I'm gonna pick, wow, it went on the floor, so, okay, trying again. I'm gonna move it first, move a couple, then I'll be able to pick them up easier. Okay. I'm gonna go in the middle of these two little pink flowers. Why is this not working? Okay, third time's a charm. Wow. I'm going back to the spatula side. So this tool, take your pick tool, has different, that one went flying. Okay, so these guys I might put on with my paper snips. I've already lost two to the floor. Oh. This stuff only happens when you're live, I swear. And then I'm gonna put one up here. Okay, that one went on better. Okay, phew. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to get through that. Okay, so there is my finished card. And I am going to go through a little Sale-A-Bration recap. So, try to find myself. I don't know why I keep feeling like I should be in the camera, but I'm not in the camera, so I'm sorry about that. I took my mat. I had a background on my table, and I took that off this morning to kind of see if that would be better when I'm kind of creating videos, so it would be less distracting. So I am going to do a little Sale-A-Bration recap for you. So I'm going to bring over my catalog, and I'm going to start at the back. So again, Sale-A-Bration's ending today. So February 28th, this is the last day. And so just to recap, I know I've been like a broken record the past couple weeks. Today is the last day to get the starter kit special of the 200 sheets of designer series paper. So that is a 20% coupon, just to let you know. If you are on the fence about joining, there's no obligations to join, and I can chat with you about it. But it's a 20% coupon because you get $125 of merchandise for $99. And then you're going to get 200 sheets of the designer series paper right now. And then you will get free shipping on that order too. So let's move on to Punch Party. So the Punch Party was a free stamp set in the back of the book if you had a $300 order. And I featured this a couple times, and I'm gonna grab my stash here. I think I have about 20 cards maybe to go through, but I'm gonna go through pretty quick. So this is a card I made with the Punch Party baby cards. This one's going in the mail to my cousin and his wife because they just had a baby boy this past week. Then I made a girl version too. And then I also used the Paper Blooms designer series paper from Sale-A-Bration. This was one I made, You Make My Heart Happy, also featuring Punch Party. And I believe that's the Flower and Field designer series paper. Okay, let's move on to Berry Blessings. So this one was super popular with the strawberries, blueberries, grapes, the stamp set, and the designer series paper. This is free with a $100 order today if you purchase by the end of the day today. And if you have questions and you want to place an order today and need help, I will be available if you are watching this today, February 28th, 2021. So this is one that featured the stamp set and the designer series paper. And I did want to talk about the punch because the strawberry, I think it's Strawberry Builder Punch, is on back order, and it's going to be on back order for a while. So I believe it's end of March, beginning of April perhaps. So if you want this punch, I believe it's not orderable right now, but there is good news because the punch is going to be carrying over to the annual catalog that comes out in May of 2021. So that punch will be good for another year after it comes off a back order. So yay, because I love strawberries, and that was a home run. So here's another one I made with the Designer Series paper. Here is one with the blueberries. And these projects, most of them are on my blog at christinestamps.blogspot.com. So if you go there and then you search for Sale-A-Bration or search for the stamp sets, this one would be under Berry Blessings Bundle. You can find directions for all these projects. This is another one with Berry Blessings. So let's move on. I wanted to try to keep this about 30 minutes, and it probably will be less. Okay, a touch of ink. We just did the Slimline cards with that. Flower and Field Designer Series paper. This one is free with a $50 order if you place it today. And I have a lot of samples. This was my class from December. In December, I actually used some of the paper, but I mixed it up with a birthday stamp set from the annual catalog. So that just gives you some other ideas. Here's a couple cards. This one features the daisy, and I brought in the daisy punch. And then this one also features the Designer Series paper, Flower and Field, with a little birthday stamp and some stitched rectangles. So super cute and easy. So that's what I have left. That's just Flower and Field. Let's go on to Heal Your Heart. I did a bunch of cards with this one. This one was with the Valentine Designer Series paper, the black and white colored in with some sponging. And then here's another one where I colored the Designer Series paper, but I bring in the stamp set. This is free with a $50 order. And here's another one with the thank you stamp, and then I colored the Designer Series paper differently. I have a lot with this stamp set. This is another one where I used the Hydrangea Designer Series paper, but with the ovals brought in the We're in This Together stamp. And then, okay, I'm going to move on because next one features both the Heal Your Heart and Corner Bouquet. So this was a card I did a couple weeks ago with the Corner Bouquet stamp. Then the thank you comes from Heal Your Heart. So Corner Bouquet is still available, free today with the $50 order. And I know I'm going quick, but trying to get through everything. Also ombre, I don't have anything still with this paper. I made some Valentine cards with it and mailed them all. Approaching Perfection, this stamp set. I actually love this stamp set and didn't feature it too much, but this was one I made early on with the stitched rectangle, cute, quick and simple birthday card with the Flower and Field Designer Series paper. And let's see, Darling Donkeys, I mailed all my cards that featured these little guys. So I don't have anything still current, but Darling Donkeys is still available with free with a $50 order. And Paper Blooms, the last two feature Paper Blooms. So this was a quick and simple birthday card I made where this is the paper in the background, and then the little ice cream cone tops came also from the Designer Series paper. There's some kind of like circular images, and I punched those out with the ice cream punch. So that's a birthday card that you can find details on my blog as well. And then for the last one, I just wanted to show another sample that I have with the Paper Blooms Designer Series paper. This one also features the Pretty Perennials bundle. So the stamp and the dies come from Pretty Perennials, but the Designer Series paper was Paper Blooms. So again, the Paper Blooms is free with a $50 order today. So that is my quick recap. Oh, and then of course last week, I don't think I showed this, but today, this is the Berry Blessings, and last week we made this little gift bag with that. So that surprisingly is the only 3D project I could find, so I'm gonna have to start doing more 3D projects soon. I did not have any in my stash featuring Sale-A-Bration products. So that is my recap. Again, today's the last day. If you actually, I'm going to bring the camera back up and finish up here so you can see my face. Okay, that's better. So again, thanks so much for tuning in this week. My Sunday videos starting next week are going to transition to tea and techniques. So for at least the next couple weeks, I'm probably going to feature stuff from the January to June mini catalog. And then I'll start bringing in some annual catalog items that are going to be retiring. We get the retiring list on, I believe it's March 24th. So we have a couple weeks to kind of know what's going to be retiring from the annual catalog. So this year has kind of been a little bit of a transition because our catalogs used to line up differently. And January to June, we have the mini catalog, but our annual catalog comes out in May. So it'll be May to May. So we kind of have a whole bunch of overlapping going on. We're going to have retiring products at different times. So stick with me. I'll have details in my weekly videos and on my blog. So techniques starting next Sunday at 10 o'clock, same time, same place. I'll still be here Sundays at 10 a.m., but just going to kind of transition from what I've been doing to kind of change it up a little bit. And if you want to, and I'm going to do Sale-A-Bration Sunday in July and August, but I don't know what is coming. So until we know more about our summer Sale-A-Bration, I won't be able to feature stuff, and I believe the products are going to be while supplies last, so it's going to have to be kind of a little bit more on the fly. I believe for this Sale-A-Bration they wanted to kind of stick with the papers and the stamps, which has been great. I loved having 4 different papers to feature in my cards and mixing it up, but we'll see what they have in the surprise, because we do not know. We have a conference in April, so, and I believe that's just for the annual catalog, so we probably won't get anything for the July Sale-A-Bration for a while. So let me know if you have questions about placing an order today, if you still want to get Sale-A-Bration freebies. I do have a host code, so if you put that in, it's GNJ, no, well, I'll start from the beginning. It's GJNFUAAF, and I'll post that below. I will cut you a packet of my Dragonfly Garden card class that I did this month, and if you place an order over $50 with that code. So that's it for me. I'll be back next week, and have a wonderful week, everybody.